Everyone says they want to be successful. Everyone says they want discipline, drive, energy. But if that's true, why do so many of us feel stuck? Why do we label ourselves as lazy, unmotivated, and unproductive, even when we want more out of life? Maybe the problem isn't laziness. Maybe the problem is everything we were taught to believe about it. This isn't just a motivational video. It's a mirror. We're going deep into the psychology, biology, spirituality, and raw human truth about so-called laziness. Because it's not what you think. The great misdiagnosis. Laziness is one of the most misunderstood concepts in the world. Society tells us that if we aren't constantly grinding, constantly achieving, constantly producing, then we must be lazy. But let me ask you a question. Have you ever wanted to do something so badly, but still couldn't get yourself to do it? Have you ever stared at your to-do list, knowing exactly what to do, but your body felt heavy, your mind foggy, and your motivation completely gone? That's not laziness. That's something deeper. Laziness is not a personality flaw. It is often a symptom of emotional exhaustion, decision fatigue, fear of failure, subconscious resistance, or burnout. The world judges the symptom, but never questions the cause. What science says about laziness? From a neuroscience perspective, laziness is not a natural state. Your brain is wired for reward, progress, and purpose. It craves momentum. So when you're unable to act, it's not because you're lazy, it's because your brain perceives some kind of threat. Let me explain. There are 3 main stress responses: fight, flight, and freeze. And in modern life, the freeze response is the most misunderstood. When you're overwhelmed, uncertain, or emotionally depleted, your brain activates a freeze response to protect you. It slows everything down, including your desire to move. This freeze mode feels like procrastination, paralysis, indecision, emotional numbness. It's not laziness. It's your nervous system trying to keep you safe. Psychological roots. Now let's go deeper. What causes us to stay stuck in that state? The answer lies in the psychological triggers and mental patterns that most of us are unaware of. Here are some common roots. Perfectionism. If you were taught that anything less than perfect isn't good enough, your brain might resist starting tasks out of fear of not measuring up. Fear of judgment. You might want to succeed, but the thought of being seen trying and failing is scarier than not trying at all. Learned helplessness. If your efforts were dismissed or ignored in childhood, your brain may default to inaction as a protective habit. Emotional overwhelm. When you're constantly emotionally taxed, your body prioritizes energy conservation. Translation? You feel lazy, but you're actually emotionally overdrawn. Lack of clarity. The brain struggles to act on vague goals. Without a clear path, it defaults to stillness. You're not lazy. You're burdened. You're blocked. You're surviving. The shame loop. Now let's talk about the shame cycle. This is what happens when you feel lazy. You judge yourself. That judgment creates guilt. That guilt drains your energy even more. So you do less. And the cycle continues. Shame is not a motivator. It's a suppressor. It doesn't push you forward. It locks you in. And society loves using shame. It calls you lazy to manipulate you into productivity. But real transformation doesn't happen through pressure. It happens through compassion. When you switch from shaming yourself to understanding yourself, you start unlocking the real reason behind your stuckness. That's where the healing begins. Energy versus force. Laziness is not the opposite of productivity. Burnout is. We live in a culture that values force over flow. But here's the thing. Force burns you out. Flow builds you up. When you're in alignment, when your goals resonate with your soul, when your mind and body are ready to move, you don't need to force action. It comes naturally. If you have to bully yourself to get things done every day, that's not discipline. That's survival mode. And survival mode will never create a life of peace, purpose, or power. Soul alignment. This is where most motivational videos stop. But we're going deeper. Laziness is often your soul's cry for help. It's the sign that your current path, your current habits, your current life are out of sync with your essence. Ask yourself, what would I do if I didn't feel pressure to be productive? What do I actually care about? What gives me energy instead of taking it? When you reconnect with your authentic desires, your energy begins to return. Not because someone yelled at you to wake up at 5 a.m., but because your soul finally has a reason to rise. A new path forward. So what now? Now that you know laziness isn't what you thought it was, how do you move forward? Here are your tools. Self-inquiry. Before labeling yourself, ask, what am I avoiding and why? Micro goals. Start with one tiny action. Prove to your brain that movement is safe. Compassion. Replace I should with what do I need right now? Create safety, emotionally, physically, spiritually. You can't thrive in chaos. Reconnect to joy. Seek what makes you feel alive, not just what makes you productive. And most of all, stop calling yourself lazy. Call yourself human. Call yourself in healing. Call yourself rising. You were never lazy. You were just lost in a world that told you your worth was measured by output. But you're not here to be a machine. You're here to become whole. Thank you for watching. If this spoke to something deep inside you, like, comment, and share this with someone else who needs to hear it. This isn't the end. This is where the real you begins. Because you are